Most people that consider bankruptcy do their own research, and they find it in their initial reading that there's something called the liquidation bankruptcy and there's something called the reorganization bankruptcy. And what I'd like to do now is just explain very briefly what those are. Liquidation bankruptcy means simply that you're going to the bankruptcy court and you're saying, these are my assets. These are my golf clubs, my car, my house, and whatever I have that's not exempt, and I'll explain that in a minute, I give that to the bankruptcy trustee. I'm liquidating my non-exempt assets, and then the bankruptcy court discharges my debts. So my debts go down to zero. I'm talking about unsecured debts like credit card debt. That's the concept of a liquidation bankruptcy, that you liquidate what you have. You say, I have nothing else, and the court gives you a discharge on your debts. Now, many people have assets that are exempt. The bankruptcy code exempts certain assets, certain amount of equity in your car, certain amount of equity in your house, clothing, and so on and so forth, cash. Those assets you can keep even in a liquidation bankruptcy. And there are different levels of value for different types of assets, and we'll go over that when you come into the office. A reorganization bankruptcy is a Chapter 13 or a Chapter 11, and in a reorganization bankruptcy, you don't give up any assets. You're not required to give up assets. What you do instead is you make a plan, and you say, I will pay off a certain percentage of my debts over a 5-year period. And your lawyer, hopefully us, will make the plan for you, and we will aggressively try to keep your payments as low as possible. But instead of giving up assets, you'll make, let's say you owe $100,000 in credit card debt. We can possibly make a plan for you based on other factors such as your income and so on, where you would pay off, let's say, $5,000 of the $100,000, and you'll pay off that $5,000 over a 60-month period. So you divide the $5,000 by 60. Whatever you get, that's what you pay monthly. And at the end of the 5-year reorganization, the balance of your credit card that you haven't paid off, the 95% that was not part of your plan, that gets discharged, just as it would in a Chapter 7 in a liquidation bankruptcy. The difference is that not everybody can file a liquidation bankruptcy, which is why we have the Chapter 13. And those are details that we would evaluate when you come to us. We'll look at your entire situation, your assets, your income, and so on, and we'll see whether you can file a 13 or a 7. But that's the basic difference.